Hey guys, Shade Raven here, now with the next in the series of drag and drop modules. This one covering the Ancestry Goblin, and like we've seen with a lot of the other ones, it's going to be generally the same, but Goblins have a whole bunch of interesting features, makes them sort of a fun ancestry to play to begin with. But rolled into them are also some other things like being able to set themselves on fire and doing persistent damage to yourself so you can do more damage to others that came in. With anyone wants to look at the Goblin Torch one. What was that one called here? Torch Goblin, there it is. Amongst a bunch of other things, you can see the persistent damage, extra damage and stuff. But what I really want to cover here that's a little bit different for goblins is talk about that they have some items that are part of their like unarmed, being able to add, you know, jaws and tail and spit type of attacks that come as sort of natural attacks that can be picked up through feats. And I can't remember if the tailed goblin starts out with at least kind of some climbing bonuses and stuff from that. But you can later on take something called Hardtail. And what I want to talk about this real quick is that, as you guys have known from some of the other ones, if you watch those, you can easily take a character like Nario here and give him, one of these feats that he had chosen. And then when you want to add it to your character so you can see that actively on your character, you just take that feat and drag it on to a new like spells tab you have. But because this one's a little bit different, it adds they get to add like this hard tail to their character. And I put a little note in here that this is actually like an inventory item. And what you can do with this is come right into inventory, drag that hard tail item onto your inventory, and then when you come back here to actions, scrolling up, you'll now see he has available to him a hard tail attack. Now, the one thing that will be different, and you have to, go through and add it individually if you wanted to, is it won't have the proficiency for this built into it because this, the proficiencies and stuff kind of set specifically for like classes, sometimes even for, different races and stuff and heritage choices might give you some groups and stuff. But by default, I put it in an unarmed attack. Maybe you could look and see what Trenolo does to see how he wants, how he has been naming these things, maybe called an unarmed attacks. And if I put it in that way, it might work. And if that changes at some point, all you really want to do is verify that the right level of proficiency is involved in it. In this case, it looks like it did it. So that's great. Although that does not look. Oh, maybe this character is just. Yeah, this character's got a minus strength. So even with that, I was thinking he didn't even have the proficiency, but it actually worked through. Um, so yeah, the tail goes on there. I guess a character with a better attack rating, it would have looked more natural to me, and I would have thought it had it. But as you can see, it pops in those proficiencies based on the type of attack. This is a melee one. There's a few other ones like this scalding spit, which is a ranged unarmed attack. Um, Again, probably not a ranged unarmed attack category, but who knows? Maybe that would work. But it'll go in when you pick up the scalding spit goblin feat, and you'll again just be adding that in. Oh crap! It looks like I have to update that and add that in that inventory item in, and you will have now another new action out here for scalding spit. This one is set the range. You can see it does 1d6 fire. It's got a little more dex than strength, so that one's got a little better chance of hitting. But that is one thing that's a little bit different about this. But I included items that'll be able to be added to a character sheet to kind of give you these natural attacks back on weapons, because they'll after you have your fang sharpener jaws, if if you end up going that way down the feed tree. Um, it'll be, you'll want to be able to have access to them in the weapons tab in case you do want to start using this stuff. So that is in general the only real difference between this and the previous versions. Again, you can grab these spells and add them to a new kind of a spell tab section to kind of give you the kind of the feel for having usable actions and stuff, and it'll tell you if you've taken the kneecap goblin feat, then you can look in here and see what kneecap does, and even have like the speed penalties for hits and critical hits on it, and it tells you what you do and how many actions it would take, and it's just there so that people want to have quick access to the stuff without having to bounce around or worrying about adding in individual effects. That'll all be in there, and I try to cover all the ones either at actions again or um, had effects that you would want to be able to apply with relative ease. So that's it for Goblin. We'll be moving on to the next one, which is I'm actually not sure off the top of my head, maybe Halfling, and I'll see you on the next video.